Hey, 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 it's Saturday. We made it, y'all. We made it to another weekend. I don't know about y'all, but I'm glad about it. Whew, it was been the longest week ever. I want to talk about anger this morning. It's the word that I think a lot of us don't really know a lot about. It's like, what is anger? Like, what do you do with anger? Like, what is anger? What do I do with the anger? I've heard of anger management. I heard of anger issue. My thing about anger is it's always seemed like something negative. Anger always seemed like something negative to me. Like, oh, you shouldn't be angry. You shouldn't be angry. And if you're not angry, then that's not even normal. Not to be angry is to be like desensitized, right? So, what is anger? Let's talk about anger. I'm going to share what I have learned this week. I was listening to this podcast, and y'all, I got like 4 pages of notes, but I'm going to give it to you in bite-sized pieces so you can digest it, okay? Because it was a lot for me. I'm like, whew, this anger thing is something else. I did not know. But when you know, you know. Okay, new information requires new decisions. So let's get started. Expressing anger is a good thing. Okay, contrary to the belief or what we've been told, we may have saw examples of anger expressed in an unhealthy way. So it may have us like kind of like, I don't know about that. Okay, so let me break this thing down. Good morning. Happy Saturday, everybody. Glad to be here, first of all. This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. So let's get started. So they started out talking about grief and how it's a sense of sadness over a loss. And it's not just the loss of a person. It could be a loss of a relationship, a friendship, a job, or anything. Like grief is just can be so many different things, right? And because you're, and this is what I heard, and the stuff I highlighted, I want to share with you. Because you're still crying about it doesn't mean you're regressing. Just because you're still crying about it does not mean you are regressing. Grief is a part of the healing process you cannot skip. Grief is a part of the healing process you cannot skip. Grief is a sense of sadness over a loss. And I want to share this word I heard. I had to go look it up. Desensitization. So it's an emotional response for lack of response due to repeated exposure of a stimuli. In other words, a diminished emotional responsiveness is response to repeated encounters with violence. Some people become desensitized, and they just don't feel nothing. They're just numb. They don't feel anything, right? When you are crying or feeling it more, more deeply, it's a sign you have awakened to just how painful your experience was. So when you're crying and feeling it more deeply, you have awakened to just how painful the experience was. I thought that was profound. When you skip over grief, you won't be able to journey well. You can't skip over the grief. I was talking to someone that literally skipped over the grief. We had a conversation. And no, I was just sitting there, and they just bust out. Well, like I can't tell you when this person died because I put that box up. I don't know what they were talking about. I was like, what? Like, how can you they never grieved. They never grieved. They never grieved. Like, think about that. Think about not grieving, and think about what that can do to your body. That pain, the anxiety, the all of that stuff just sits in your body, just stores in your body. Then it starts making you sick, literally. It can make you sick, holding on to stuff. It's like a balloon. You just blowing and blowing and blowing. It's like eventually something's going to happen. Something's going to just bust, right? And I just was sitting there like, what? I remember going to the funeral. I remember everything about the whole process, and it felt like they were just putting all the pictures up. We couldn't look at the pictures. We couldn't talk about it. We couldn't, even when we went to visit the grave site, and he's like, "Wait, we went to visit the grave. Why would you do that?" And it's like, what? Like, because that person never grieved. They just shut down completely. It's not healthy at all. Okay. When you skip over the grief, you won't be able to journey well, right? Are you as you become awakened to it, you should be angry. You should be sad. All of these emotions are normal, and they're not negative emotions. We've been taught that there are negative emotions, but they're not. There's no such thing as negative emotions. Our emotions are valid. God cares about our feelings. He cares about our emotions. He does. People do not want to grieve because it brings up emotions they don't want to feel. And I understand that. She did not want to feel that. She did not want to grieve. She don't want to feel that. She don't want to touch that box. She don't want to look at that stuff. The pictures will never go back up on the wall. Right? Because she does not want to feel that anymore. She doesn't want to feel it. You can't skip the process. You just can't. Anger communicates something was meant to be protected that holds its value. So when you get angry, it means that something was communicated, that something was not protected. When you get angry, something happened. You felt unprotected in that moment, and that is what makes you angry, right? Anger tells us, listen to this, anger tells us that boundaries are needed. Anger tells us that boundaries are needed. That's what anger does. It tells you if you're angry, if you're so mad, you may need to limit your time around that person or that place or that thing. Your anger is telling you you need boundaries. A lot of us weren't taught what boundaries were. We weren't. I wasn't. I am learning about boundaries now. Boundaries are healthy. Boundaries are very necessary for your mental state, for your safety, for your sanity. You have got to set those boundaries. If you find yourself always angry around certain people, certain places, certain things, you need a boundary. A boundary needs to be set. And only you know what that is. You know what that looks like, right? The anger is congruent with the value. Feel the anger. If you grew up around people who are emotionally numb, you may call it maturity. If you grew up around people who are emotionally numb, you may call it maturity. When you cut off the mourning, you cut off the celebration. When you cut off that mourning, like mourning the person and mourning the situation, you cut off the celebration. So now when there is time, it's a time to celebrate, you can't celebrate because you're saying, well, I shouldn't celebrate because I should still be sad. I should still be mourning. I should still be grieving. When you cut it off, it just pops up. When it's celebration time, you're like, I can't celebrate because I did, this, I don't have this and I don't have this. And you start just going back there because you never grieved. You never grieved. You can't just cut off one emotion when you stop yourself from grieving. You can't just cut off one emotion when you stop yourself from grieving. And when you're angry, you want to hit something or cut them off. It's okay to feel the anger without acting on it. It's okay to feel the anger without acting on it. You ain't got to fight, beat nobody up, and cuss nobody out. It's okay to feel the anger without acting on it, right? And if you got to punch something, get a punching bag, go punch your pillow. Don't be punching people, okay? You got to know how to express it in a healthy way, okay? A lot of people don't. We see it all the time. People just fighting, going crazy. Like, what's wrong with them? And it's never really about that one thing. It's about stuff they've been storing and holding on and holding on and holding on to it. And somebody says one thing and they're triggered and they are ready to go to war on whoever, right? It's okay to feel the anger. The anger tells us that boundaries need to be set. If you're never angry, you will never know what boundaries to set. If you're never angry, you never know what boundaries to set. When you don't acknowledge your grief, it will come up at the time of celebration. You have no right to be happy now. What you doing being happy? You should be celebrating. You should be grieving, right? When you do not grieve, it's going to come up at celebration. Everybody's celebrating. You like, I can't celebrate. I ain't got time to celebrate because I'm sad about this. I'm mad about that. You got a whole list of stuff that you have never grieved, okay? Boundaries start with your needs and discerning where your needs are met. Boundaries start with your needs and discerning where your needs are met. Anger tells us where we need boundaries. Your body is processing the anger, whether you express it or not. Your body is processing the anger, whether you express it or not. Our bodies hold the realities of our emotional experience, and this can make you sick. Let me say that again. I just said it. Like, people just hold on to stuff and wonder why. I don't know, something. I can't go to the bathroom. I'm constipated. My blood pressure. I'm all kind of health issues start happening when you do not process this stuff. Your body is processing it, whether you want it to or not, right? Our bodies hold the realities of our emotional experience, and this can make you sick. If you're in the process of healing and dealing with your trauma, you will be sensitive to your pain, and this is a good thing, whether it feels good or not. If you're in the process of healing, yes, the body keeps the score. If you're in the process of healing and dealing with your trauma, you will be sensitive to your pain, and this is a good thing, whether it feels good or not. Okay, you have to process this stuff. You have to release this stuff. You have to get the support you need. Don't stay stuck in it. Do not stay stuck in it, right? Therapy is a good place to learn how to express anger. Therapy is a good place to learn how to express anger. Expressing anger is a good thing. So I wrote down one of the therapy things that they do for in this case. It's called somatic work. So somatic works helps treat the post-traumatic stress and effects formed from mental health conditions. This type of therapy connects a person's mind and body to apply psychotherapy and physical therapies during the treatment. God cares about our emotions. No emotions are negative. No emotions are negative, okay? When you become awakened to your pain, you become awakened to other pain. When you become awakened to pain, you become awakened to other people's pain. And that's hard. When you become awakened to your pain, you become awakened to other people's pain. And I did not understand it until I heard it until they explained it like that. A lot of times, I feel things in people. They can say I'm fine and I'm this and I'm that, and I can look at them and know and feel that something is not right. Oh, I'm doing fine. I'm doing well. I don't think so. I was talking to someone the other day, and I told him. I said, I just feel stuff, and it's like, what do you feel about me? I said, I feel like you're sad. I feel like you're depressed, and you just feel you have lost hope. And I say, stop me when I'm wrong. They never stop me, because that's what I felt. I can look at people's pictures, and I can feel things. They're sad. They're suffering. It's something going on there. I don't know what it is, but I see it because I have become awakened to my own pain, right? And that awakens, and in that, I'm awakened to other people's pain. And it can be hard because it's like you want to help them. You know they need the help, but it's not your job to help and save and rescue everybody. It's just not. I pray for them. I can do that. I can always do that. If you're in the process of pain, healing, you're sensitive to your pain. Yes, your body. Look at here. You got to go through that, and it's the thing. We don't want to touch it because it's painful. It's uncomfortable. Think about counseling or therapy or coaching. It's about touching the pain, and nobody want to touch the pain. But in order to heal the pain, you got to touch the pain. Okay, you have to, in order for that wound to heal, you got to give it the oxygen that it needs. You got to give it the care that it needs. You got to stop picking on it. Well, let me just see how it's doing today. You don't keep doing that to a sore. You let it heal. You don't take the Band-Aid off and how it's looking now. And you don't keep the Band-Aid on forever either. You take it off because it has to get the air to heal. We have to get what we need in order to heal. And in order to heal, I had to touch the pain. I had to go back to those painful places and talk about it and create new beliefs about it, right? That's how you heal. You got to touch the pain. You just can't keep ignoring it because it's never going to go away. I posted something today about the pain just never goes away. It never goes away. It just stays in your body. It stays with you. Feelings, something about buried alive. I forgot how I post that. Anyway, let me keep going. God is inviting you into understanding your emotions and cry out to him. We cry out to everybody else. Cry out to him too, okay? You can feel the emotions without letting them rule you. You can feel the emotions without letting them rule you. There are no negative emotions. They're uncomfortable emotions. Okay? That's what it is. We call things that are uncomfortable negative. Oh, that's just negative. That's just negative. It's not negative. It's just uncomfortable. Call it what it really is. Talking about this pain and trauma and stuff, it's uncomfortable. Okay? It's not negative. It's uncomfortable. And growth is uncomfortable. It is. But it's necessary. It's necessary. Your emotions precede your thoughts. Owning who you are is owning all of your feelings. Owning who you are is owning all of your feelings. All of them. Not just the ones you want to talk about. Owning all of them, okay? And when we don't express our grief and emotions, they often leak out in moments of celebration. In order to change your mind, you must change your heart. In order to change your mind, you got to change your heart. In order to change this, you got to change. It starts here. It starts here. Out of the heart, the mouth speaks. You can tell what's on people's heart by what they say. I'm telling you, just sit back and watch people say, like, whoa, that heart right there needs some work. Right? We all got healing and growing to do. I invite you to get the help and support that you need for you. And only you know that. I always love to say, because my coach tells us this, you are your own rescue. Don't nobody know you like you. When you close that door, you go in that room, you know what's going on with you. You know if you sad, you know if you hadn't grieved, you know if you in pain, you know if you hurting, you know if you stuck. You know if your heart is sick. You know that. You know you better than anybody else. You know you better than anybody else. Get the help, get the support you need for you. For you. It is about you getting what you need. So I wanted to share this about this anger because I'm like, we just think anger is this negative thing. Anger is normal. It's a normal feeling. Our feelings are valid. All of them. All of them. It's what you do with it. It doesn't mean you got to beat anybody up or cuss anybody out. Learn how to, what's the word they use? Learn how not to act on it. Don't act on it. There are people that do not know how to control their anger. They send them to anger management classes, right? And if that's what you need, then that's what you need. But get the help that you need for you. We see it in schools now. Kids are just fighting teachers and all kinds of stuff. What's going on here? Where are they seeing this? Where are they seeing this? It all starts in the home. They're seeing it somewhere. Okay? So if we are good, then we get to show them. If we're able to control our emotions and our anger, then we get to show them. We teach them about what we do, not what we say. We teach about what we do. It all starts with us. That's why the healing is important. That's why getting the support you need is important. Because if you got kids, they looking at you. You the blueprint. You are the blueprint. I was listening to something and it was talking about bonding patterns. Honey, bonding patterns start in childhood. How it starts in the home, like how you see mom or dad, right? So my bonding pattern was helping people. Like I felt like the need to save people because of my abandonment issues. So I would attract people with abandonment issues, where there were abandonment issues with mom, abandonment issues with dad. I would attract people with abandonment issues thinking I could fix them, right? I need to fix it myself. But those are bonding patterns, right? We attract, like, I don't know why I keep attracting. You'll keep attracting that person because that's a part of you that needs to be healed, right? You keep attracting that because that's a part of you that needs to be healed. You've learned that bonding pattern at an early stage in your life, not even realizing it. I was like, oh my goodness, I had to do a video and share what came up for me in that moment, because when I heard that, it literally, the relationships I was in flashed before my eyes, and how everybody I was attracted to had abandonment issues and rejection issues, and they were emotionally unavailable, just as I was. that was like, whoo, that, yes, yes. And people try to look at you, you look at people like, what? I don't know why that person with that person. People have bonding patterns that you know nothing about. Okay, look that word up, bonding patterns, and you will get the definition. And then you get to journal about what came up for you, look back on your relationships, your friendships, and see where your bonding patterns are. Yeah, but I'm trying to tell you. Well, you heal that by talking with someone, right? And unlearning that. Because the lady called in. I listen to this podcast and it just be blowing my mind. People be calling in, they realize stuff. So the lady, she was dating this guy 2 months in. He calls her, he's locked up with DUI. And she's like, well, I want to help him. And so she got, she started asking her questions and she got to the bottom of why she did that. So growing up in her home, her father was an alcoholic and she wanted to save and rescue him, but she couldn't. So now she looks to save and rescue men. She's attracted. That's the pattern in her that she attracts other people that need her help, that need rescuing. Now she already works at a place. I forgot what job she does, but she works at a place where she does help people. And the lady was like, well, you already get paid for that. You didn't get paid for this right here. You have nothing invested here. So why do you want to help that person? She felt the need. It's Iyanla. It's Iyanla podcast. When I tell you that's not. So let me tell you what I do. I'm telling you all my personal business. So when I take my bath, I put the podcast on. Honey, I be in there. I be having, and she makes you laugh because it's so good. It's so yummy. And she be talking to different people that call in, and she gives them help and support. And the lady called in, like I said, and it was like, she just 2 months in, and she's like, she's like, you have nothing invested. Like, what are you losing? What are you gaining by that? Like, what? Do you want to continue? She said, you can be there for him and not be with him. You can be there for him as a friend and not be with him. But it's all about those bonding patterns. The answer for everybody is to get some help. Whether that's therapy or coaching. We try to do this thing by ourselves, and we cannot. You can't see your blind spots. I'm telling you, I didn't even know that was a thing. I was like, what? I knew I just kept attracting the same type of person. I was like, ain't nothing changing but the name. Like, what? And then when I heard that, it's like I'm slowly getting the pieces of the puzzle. We have this the puzzle of life is what I call it. And in life, we get these different pieces. We don't have all the pieces yet. Let me slow down. We don't have all the pieces yet. Right? But we're slowly getting the pieces. So when she shared that bonding pattern, and literally the young lady, the second lady she was talking to me. Because that was me. I saw myself in the young lady's story. Right? I saw myself in that. And I was like, oh. And so when she was helping her, she was helping me. So that's another form of way to get help. If you can't afford to go to a counselor or therapist, honey, there's so many counselors. I can tell you some podcasts. In the Light podcast. And then you have Miss Iyanla podcast. I'm trying to think the name of it. But those podcasts, like I follow people that can help me. Like teach me something. Something I don't know. I don't follow people that's just like me. I want to learn. I want to grow. So I follow people that are way ahead of me that I just when they say something, I'm like, oh, that's good. I do. And so I like to learn. I love learning. In the Light podcast is Dr. Anita Phillips. That's the reason why I went to school to be a counselor, because my goodness, I want to help people. And I admire her so much. Her and Kobe Campbell. Oh my goodness. They're just so awesome. So I'm always sharing their posts. I'm always listening to the stuff that they're talking about. And Kobe Campbell got a book coming out called "Why Am I Like This?" This is a licensed mental therapist. Yeah, she's a licensed therapist, trauma therapist, and she has a book coming out in April. Already got it on pre-order, and it is called "Why Am I Like This?" Right, and that's what I got the anger from. So in the Light podcast, they had her and her husband on there, and they were talking about anger. So I learned I learn different things, and I come here and I share it because a lot of this stuff. Have you ever heard about this stuff? Do you know about this? These different words and stuff. And I look up the words, right? Because that's how I learn. Like, let me just dig a little deeper. And then also, I'm a student counselor as well. So we're doing stuff there. We're learning about the five emotional needs, the 5 human emotional needs, right? Humans need 5. There are 5 needs. They're on my paper over there. I don't want to get up, but there are 5 needs that humans need, right? And so now we're doing therapy sessions, like mock sessions with people. And so we have to practice listening. So when you're with your therapist or your counselor or your coach, you do all the talking. They talk like 20% of the talking. It's you doing all the talking. Because guess what? The person with the problem also has the answer. You just don't know you have them. So what the therapist or the coach or the counselor does is ask you different questions. They ask you different questions. And in those questions, guess what? You will come up with your answers. Because when I'm being coached and I'm talking and they're asking me certain little things, I'm like, I have my own answer. I always had it, but you don't know you have it, right? They take you to a place that you probably never been before. They ask you questions that nobody probably ever asked you before. Because a lot of times in conversations, people just want you to hurry up and talk so they can say what they got to say. But in these sessions, you're actually being listened to. You're actually being heard. You're actually being seen. You are. They just listen to you. They're like, okay, what's up? What's going on? What about that? Okay, tell me about that. What's going on there? What's that feeling? What's that feeling you have in your chest right now? What's that? What's that face for? Like they start asking you questions, right? And you will come up with your own answers because you have them. You just don't know you got them. That's the thing. That's why I say you can't do this by yourself. Because you wouldn't know what questions to ask you. I don't know what questions to ask me. I don't. But I know that going through these processes and these courses and this personal development, I'm able to coach myself in certain areas, but not all areas. Like certain things, I need to talk to somebody. Like I do. I need somebody else to hear me. I need somebody else to ask these questions that I don't know. That I don't know that I know. Let me say that. I need somebody to ask me those questions that I don't know that I don't know. Because the person who has the problem also has the solution. You just don't know you have them. And growing up, therapy, coaching, counseling, they were things that people didn't talk about. If they did talk about it, oh, I'm not going to see no therapist, no counselor. I ain't crazy. Right? That's what I heard growing up. We have to unlearn this stuff. Look at the world around us. We are all experiencing we all experiencing trauma right now. We are. People are dying. People are sick. There's so much stuff going on. We need somebody to talk to. Everybody does. Whether they want to admit it or not. You do. You can't be your best self by yourself. You have the answers, but you just need help finding them. Right? And you have to be intentional about it. I'm intentional about my growth. I'm intentional about investing in myself. Because I've seen where I was and where I am now. So I know that it works. It works if you work it. It works if you work it. So get what you need. And it's not going to be no overnight thing. Can't nobody give you no pill and all of a sudden you just healed and healthy. It's a process. Allow yourself the time, the grace for that. Because healing is a journey. Just when you think you're good and it's all clear, then something else. Oh, wait a minute. Here it comes again. And you got to keep on. You got to keep on. You got to keep it going. It's not a one and done. As long as you're alive, there are things that you're going to go through. And everybody needs somebody to talk to. It helps. I'm telling you. When I talk to somebody, I'll be like, oh, child, I feel so much better. Because think about that. If you're the go-to person that everybody always coming to and just sharing their problems and sharing their concerns and venting to you, you need somebody. When my sister calls me, you know what she says? How's your cup? And I'll be like, oh, my cup good, girl. Let's go. Give me what you got. That's what you need, right? In the conversation. See, can I do that to her? I'm like, how's your capacity today? And if her capacity's good, okay. Let me tell you about this right here. Let me tell you what's on my heart. And that's our relationship. That's our conversation. So a lot of times when your cup, and you don't serve when your cup is like this. my IGA water. You don't serve when your cup is like this. You serve when I don't want to let it come all the way out. You serve at the stuff that comes out. That stuff that comes out, you serve with that. This right here is for me. I can't give you that. Now I'm dehydrated and I'm dry and I'm overwhelmed, right? Overwhelmed. So you serve from the overflow, right? That's called boundaries. Boundaries are very important. There's sometimes I'm like, I cannot talk to this person today. I can't do this today. There's sometimes where I don't do no schoolwork. I just, you know what? I'm going to go watch TV and laugh because that's what I need. Like, I need that. I'm overwhelmed. I'm just frustrated. I'm going to go and decompress. I'm going to go and color. I love to color too. I'll color. I find a funny video. I'll laugh and I'm good. Listen to your body. Your body's always talking. It's always talking. The question is, are you listening? If you're tired, sit and rest. We're human beings, not human doings. You don't have to always be doing something. Contrary to the belief that we've been taught, we've been shown. We have to unlearn that. You got to. I'm trying to tell you. That's what happens when you be burnt out and just, I don't have it in me. Because you giving them everything you got. You giving them everything you got. And you don't give nobody this right here. This for you. This for you. And it's not selfish. It's self-full. It's not selfish. It's self-full. Stop serving from here and serve from whatever comes out. Right? So how do you fill that up? How do you fill that up? For me, it's the podcasting. It's the book club. It's the people pouring into me. Right? That's what it is for me. It's people pouring into me. Not me pouring into everybody all the time. Then I'm like, I ain't got nothing else for me. Because I'm giving them this. I can't give people that. I cannot. Somebody reached out to me and it was like, hey, I want to talk to you about something. I was like, my plate is full. And it was going on and on. I had to set a boundary with a stranger. Because they didn't know me and I didn't know them. I said, well, I would not be responding anymore. Because I said no. And it's like, I don't know how many ways I can say no. No is no. No is a complete sentence. We have to respect when people say, no. Oh, no, let me tell you anyway. Oh, what about that? No. It's like, no, ma'am, I'm not. And I said respectfully, I would not be responding. My plate is full. I got to learn to say no, right? And also, once you know what your goals and your purpose is, you know what your no's are going to be so easy. It's like, no, this is not in alignment with what I got going on, so I can't do that. That's going to be no. It's an easy no for me, not a hard no. It's an easy no. Before, I did so many things I didn't want to do because I didn't know who I was, didn't know my purpose, goals, didn't have a clue. I would do all kinds of stuff, be like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know why I'm going here. I don't even want to be here. I would do stuff like that because I didn't know. But now that you know, I was looking at my video, y'all, when I first got started. It was April 30th of 2020 when I got on Lisa Nichols' campus. And I started this personal development journey, started this coaching journey. And I was looking at this video. And it reminded me of where I am now and how everything has changed, right? So I was playing this video.
Right? Michelle, breathe. Karen.
Yeah, you, Michelle.
Galaxy SA, breathe.
So I recorded this in this moment right there. I was having a breakthrough. And I recorded that. And y'all, that was like April 30th, the day I started investing in myself in 2020. And so much has changed. My life has been transformed because I made an investment in myself. I got on her campus. I met the coaches that I have now. I met my accountability partners I have now. So many people are still a part of her community. And it's like everywhere I go, they're right there. So they get it. You want to be around like-minded people. Community matters. You don't have to do this thing by yourself. I'm glad I had that community because if I need something, I ain't got to ask a stranger because I don't know what they're going to say. I needed a mock client, so I was like, hey, can somebody do it? And there was like, I had two people back. I was like, okay, well, let me get your email and send you this form to sign, this release form to sign. And it was like that. In community, people just get it. Because sometimes I'm talking to people and they just be like, what is that? What is arrested development? What is personal development? Like, what is coaching? What is that? People don't understand. Like, so it's nice to be in the community of like-minded people, and it's not hard to find. Just the groups that, say when they have these events in the comment section, that's where you start your what's the word? Networking. You start networking in the comment section. Hey, I got this group. Hey, I want to join a group. What about somebody has started a group? You join their group because you already know y'all are like-minded people. That's how you do it. I'm trying to tell you, it's a technique to it, right? All the people I'm connected to, I found in Lisa Nichols' community. They're gladiators. They're up here. I'm trying to tell you, I had a session with somebody that works with her, like alongside her. This person was coaching me, giving me tips and techniques on my videos, on my speeches and stuff, right? It's all about community. Hook your caboose, right? Hook your caboose to whoever you look up to. Who you want to aspire to be like, not be, right? Be like, right? Things that you aspire to do. And that's my journey. I don't know how I got there telling y'all that, but that's it. I'm done. I'm gonna end this because I'm complete. Any questions, comments, or concerns? I thank y'all for tuning in. It's Saturday. It's a little rainy outside, but it ain't gonna stop nothing. I'm gonna go and have a good day on purpose. I'm gonna stay in peace and not pieces. That's what she loved to say at the end of her podcast. That's where I get that from too. I love it because we gotta stay in peace and not pieces, right? Get the help, get the support you need. Yeah, you're a human being, not a human doing. People think, listen, I literally make time to do nothing. I schedule time. You know what? I'm going to take 10 minutes to sit down somewhere. Either you say you let me slow down. Yeah, I know. Because I get excited and I talk fast. Especially when I want to tell you something. So I was like, oh, let me slow down. That's my awareness. And it just comes up. When self-awareness is everything. It is everything. You'll notice when your body starts feeling like, I feel a little triggered right now. I don't need to say nothing. I need to go home. I need to drink some water and mind my business. Certain things you have to, it's the awareness for me. It's the awareness for me. Because if you're not aware, then you be out there. Okay? Let me stop the podcast.